Hello and welcome to the Wednesday check-in presented by the Gokhstein News Network. I'm your host, Landy, and today is August 13th, 2025. And of course, we're looking at Bitcoin making new all-time highs yet again. And look, Bitcoin pushed above the swing high that we were looking at from Monday. You know, it was a lower likelihood in some of the lower term timeframes, but on the Tuesday session, things did turn around as indicated by the 4-hour. And there was a chance, and I mentioned that in the last video, that there was a chance that it could run back up here. But what criteria did it need to meet? The criteria that it needed to meet was closing above. Oh, I need to actually fix that so it's a little bit more visible here. Hold on one second. So we needed to see it close above the 122 300 or so, and that would be borne upon, you know, getting back above the 120 to 121 green zone, then running that area. Next big area to run was the 123 area. We did get a close slightly above it at 123 365 here, and now pushing above to about just shy of $124,000 at 123 780 right now, and above the upper second standard deviation. So we do have expansion, and we have expansion on two different closures. So close above the upper second and breaking the all-time high, meeting the criteria to move higher. And of course, now we have a close open candle. Now I do need to see another close above here. I am still looking at the 125 area, now moving up to around the low to mid 126 area by the upper third standard deviation. That is absolutely a possibility from here now. And of course, there is some other targets on the board. Let's go ahead and turn on the fib levels here, because we have a local and a macro fib level that are lining up just overhead at the $128,000 to $130,000 level. Both of these fib levels, both the macro and the more local one, at least from the monthly poll on fib extensions, coming in at the 41.4% above at 128 to around $130,000. It does depend on your chart. Here on Coinbase, it is $128,000. I would give it room on swings to 130. And of course, that's going to be borne upon the conditions being met of closing above around $125,000, as I've stated previously. So how do we keep this thing rolling? Well, right now, pullbacks to the 120 to 121 area are fair game still. And that's the area that you want to see hold up around the upper first standard deviation to preserve expansion in this case. And I'll be honest, I'd like to see the bulls actually push through here and continue to run up. We do have momentum pointed to the upside here. We have volatility rising as noted by the BBWP indicator within the Landy bands. Shout out to the caretaker for allowing me to utilize this code in this free indicator, which you can get in the link in my description on X and the video link in the YouTube if you do follow the YouTube. There is, of course, an uptrend here, and there is no in-trend bearish divergence on RSI right now. Could there be some prior bearish divergence drives coming through? Sure, from the prior structure, but within this uptrending structure, there is no bearish divergence just yet. And, there might be some hidden bearish divergence from and or some bearish divergence populating from some of the other uptrending structure over here. But realistically, it's not as powerful. It'd be more corrective at first upon first drives if it's coming from this structure, and the more powerful drives will come from the current uptrending structure. So something to watch for there. Nice move. We're going to look at Ethereum too, by the way. But let's go ahead and just check on the weekly, make sure levels are where we had previously spoken about. Yep, the upper second right there coming in now just shy of $130,000. You might remember that on Monday I'd mentioned that if Bitcoin does move up, candle turns green, we would see this around $130,000, and it's getting there. And if this candle continues to go up throughout the rest of this week and through the weekly close, we will see this adjust above as well. Now, if we pull a local fib, let's go ahead and actually turn this off. Go to the monthly. So you saw the macro fib there. If we pull a local fib extension from the prior higher high to higher low on the monthly, you'll see that this same area here at the 1414, which is 41.4% above the 109,360 high over here, is coming in right at $128,000. Now, if we do start closing above the $128,000 to $130,000 level, especially pushing that upper second standard deviation on the weekly or walking it up with this trend, then the next big area from the local perspective is going to be around $138,000 to $140,000. Now, there is some dailies that we can get into the weeds around 135, but I would be looking more towards some of the higher term time frame stuff. And then above there, if we started to see weekly closes above there, then we can look right up to where that upper third is coming in, just shy of the $148,000 to $150,000 level. There's even an 888 up there as well, right around 153. So there's some important levels to pay attention to overhead, but we do need to see the weekly follow through with closes above the all-time high at $123,000 to get that continuation. And of course, closes above the upper first, still looking good no matter what happens. And that is at now 117,500. If the candle did turn red again, this is going to be more towards 117 even. And looks good. Looks good. I like this breakout. I hope you all had some trades on and are making some good money, or your spot positions are up, or whatever it is. I hope that you're winning, because it is fun in the market right now. And it's been fun since the low got put in at $112,000. And just as a reminder, this was a retest of the prior high at $112,000, right? So low put in right around there, slightly under. Did hit it directly on the daily though, 112 even for the low on the first bearish candle, and then a nice little sweep of that low down to the 111,900, and then up and away, just bouncing from one side of the bands to the other. And really, really nice move. And, it pays off well to buy off supports when you're in a macro uptrending market. And I know that a lot of people were getting scared around there. So I hope that those of you that stayed in position and didn't get scared out are being rewarded kindly right now. Ethereum closed, excuse me. So we hit our 4630 target on the daily. So you might remember me mentioning above 4,400 that I'd be looking for around that 4,630, and now closing above there, then we can start eyeing that all-time high. And this is coming off of a beautiful, beautiful compression to expansion, and it's got the legs to do it on the daily, up to that 4,867. Closes above there, targeting right around the low 5,000 to 5,100 area. And that would look really, really good if ETH can pull that off. Now, everybody keeps saying, well, alt season, is it here, is it here, is it here? Look, the weekly looks beautiful. And what we need to see on the weekly for Ethereum is a close above the all-time high, and then another close above the all-time high. So pushing that upper third up to the $55,000 to $58,000, $5,500 to $5,800 level, and then close over close price momentum and volatility expansion can take over from there, and we can start eyeing 6,000 to 6,500, which is a 1.168 or 16.8% above the prior cycle high. So that would be the next major area of interest on a breakout for Ethereum. It would look really good, and that's where I would say yes, we are going to see a bigger alt season. I don't think it's going to be the alt season that many expect. I think it's going to be a sector by sector alt season, and Ethereum is going to be the outsized beneficiary, and then we'll see liquidity rotations throughout. So, look, Ethereum is the chosen chain for a lot of stablecoin launches coming up post Genius Act passage, and there's been a lot of prep going on there, and obviously there's going to be other chains that stables are going to be launched on, but and we all know about the Tom Lee and others that are taking big bets on Ethereum and making bold claims about where it could eventually end up. And that's great. I think that that's really bullish that they're on TV talking about it. But jokes aside, there's big players involved, and they're not just involved because they are being blinded by number go up. It's because they're looking to build on Ethereum, whether that's on the L2s or building their own EVM compatible L1, whatever it might be. That's where a lot of bigger players are looking. A lot of this was kind of already baked in when you got the biggest asset managers on the planet with the first two biggest cryptos in their spot ETFs in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, after the Ethereum spot ETF launch, this is to be expected. And there's a lot of players getting involved on the treasury side of things. So it's exciting times, right? And what we did see was Solana played some catch up, and that's what we needed to see. So Solana, nice higher low to higher high structure. It does need to get above around 206 and go up to and hit that 209 level. And then we can start entertaining, because it's kind of just a big range right now on the daily. If we look at the weekly, it's got some work to do, but it can hit that 210, 209, 210 level and above. But it's pushing the upper second standard deviation right now. And realistically, if you want to see an actual alt season, you want to see all of these alts breaking above their all-time high and running at the same time. That would be your, kind of the alt season of old that many are referencing. I don't know if we get that, to be quite honest. But the performance of Solana now picking up, which is really good to see for those that are in it and those that are trading it. So, you want these things to go up. Being a chain maxi in this regard isn't going to be very beneficial for your bags. And I would suggest that you root for this thing, for all of this to keep going. And therefore your entire bag gets an uplift. And that's pretty much all I got for today. And I do want to remind everybody, and I know that this is like, oh, alt season's here, alt season's here. Remember last year we had an 11% dump off down to 54.54%. Right? We are now down 10%. This is not alt season yet. It's not. It's alts are running. There's even some memes running and some, other sector coins running, but this is not an alt season just yet. We're still, seeing if we can get there, right? And I still maintain, until proven otherwise, that it'll be a sector by sector alt season after Ethereum hits its all-time high and starts running. So that's going to do it for me today. I will be back on Friday with the Friday wrap up. We'll take a look at, kind of where Bitcoin is on Friday and what to look for over the weekend. There is some data coming out. Economic data is going to be PPI data. And I think there might have been something else. Let me look here for Thursday. Okay, we are going to get core PPI month over month, unemployment claims. Right, today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So we're going to get unemployment claims, and we'll see what the numbers come in at. This is going to be kind of important, but there's obviously talk of rate cuts, and whether it's Besant coming out and calling for basically a 50 basis point cut, or whether there's three 25 basis point cuts. That's just all speculation right now. It's going to be data dependent. That would rock the markets in terms of volatility. So, and then we'd have to determine direction later. But I do think it would cause quite a bit of repositioning if that did happen. And because we have the Genius Act, it doesn't inherently mean that we start printing, right? Like, there is a vector for bond demand, right? With the stablecoin one-to-one backing for issuers. So, unless we saw like rate cuts, balance sheet expansion, then a move right into QE, which isn't really needed right now, in my opinion. A rate cut's a rate cut, and it's helpful and it frees up liquidity, but it does not equate to necessarily to printing, as we do now have other vectors for demand. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm open to being proven wrong. A lot of people think the money printer is going to go burr, and maybe they're right. Maybe rate cuts happen and money printer goes burr and everything goes to the upside forevermore, and there's never ever another bear market to speak of. That's what everybody thinks, right? Right? Is that what everybody thinks? We'll find out, right? All right, I'll talk to you again on Friday. You have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening, no matter where you are in the world. Please trade safe, and of course, as always, stay safe. With all that being said, Landy out. Take care.